What's going on, everybody? Adam here with Etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at a pretty cool ball mount by Curt. This is going to be the Rebellion XD. So what really sets this ball mount apart from some of the other ones you may see on our site is the fact that this one is going to have some shock absorbing technology. It's going to have a little urethane bushing here and a little one in between the shank and the ball itself. And this is just going to prevent all that chucking and shucking you feel whenever you're going down the road. If you ever feel your trailer kind of surge and push your truck forward, and that energy is just going between both the truck and the trailer. It makes for not a very comfortable ride, and also it puts unnecessary damage on your hitch. So these are the components that we need to really get the job done, and we really want to take care of them so we can get the job done without having to replace all these different components. This ball mount will require a 2.5 inch shank, and it will allow you to have a rise of 1 inch and a drop all the way down to 8 inches. We're going to get both a 2 inch and 2 5/16 inch ball. Today we're using a 2 inch ball, which is going to give us a trailer weight capacity of 10,000 pounds. And if we use the bigger 2 5/16 inch ball, we're going to have a 20,000 pound capacity. We are going to have a tongue weight of 1,500 pounds, and if you don't really know what your tongue weight is, we do have an Etrailer tongue weight scale here at Etrailer, and that's going to help you get everything nice and dialed in so it's a nice, smooth, level ride. If you're really looking for a shock absorbing ball mount, but this one isn't as heavy duty as you need, we do have a Gen Y torsion flex ball mount, which is going to be extra tough for those bigger loads you may be carrying. But if you have maybe some lighter stuff you really want to have a shock absorbing ball mount with, you can go ahead and use the Gen Y glider. I did a review video on that, so definitely go and check that out. But if you were to use this one, just be sure that depending on what truck you're using, what trailer you're using, we are going to have a lot of different adjustments, and each of these holes are going to be about 1.25 inches apart. What really gives you a smooth and sound-free hauling experience is the urethane. Some of these other shock-absorbing ball mounts use rubber, but over time the salt gets to them, sometimes the sun cracks it, and they don't really last near as long. With the urethane, it is going to be extra tough, so you don't really have to worry about that. It does have a nice coated finish, which it looks really good, but it is going to be used for many years. You don't have to worry about it rusting away over time. You can spend $100,000 on a truck just for the ride quality, but if you're just using a normal fixed ball mount, it's really not going to give you the ride quality that your truck really deserves. Honestly, whenever I was mowing in the summers, I always had a fixed ball mount, but then I go ahead and grab a shock absorbing ball mount, and it just kept everything nice and silent. It was a lot more smooth, and I really enjoy the rides in between mows. So that's just something that I would definitely recommend grabbing this for, just for the ride quality itself, but also for your components and your trailer, but also the contents of your trailer. My mowers don't have a suspension, so having a little bit more cushion in between my truck and my trailer definitely keeps my mowers from hopping around in the back. I would definitely recommend getting a shock absorbing ball mount of any sorts. We have a couple different ones that we mentioned in the video, and if the Curt Rebellion doesn't do everything you really want it to, or if it's a little too much or too little, we have other options here at Etrailer, but I would definitely recommend it if you do any sort of hauling, and trust me, you'll feel the difference. Fresh out of the box, this is what we're going to have. We have our shank here, and this is going to be made of a low carbon steel construction, along with most of all the components. This is going to be made of a stainless steel, so we don't have to worry about these balls rusting away over time. We're going to have a 2 inch on top and a 2 5/16 inch on bottom, depending on what you're hauling with. The nice thing about it is it does come with 2 little pins here, and these are going to be made of stainless steel, so they're not going to rust away over time, but we will not get a pin and clip with this kit. So what I'm doing, since this ball mount is extremely cool and it's going to draw a lot of attention, what I'm doing is grabbing the lock kit for the Rebellion XD. This is just going to ensure that it's not going to run off whenever you're using it. This ball mount is going to be for a 2.5 inch shank. So what we want to do is put this up into place. It's extremely heavy duty. Line up that hole a little bit like that. And then we're going to take our pin for our lock, fit that through, get it lined up, and slide our 5/8 pin through there. And then on the lock portion, what we're going to do, is, as you can tell, it's going to have to slide in. But what we have to do first is unlock it. And what I really like about the lock is when you go to unlock it, the key doesn't come out, so you don't have to worry about losing it. I lose things quite often, and this is definitely something I like just to prevent that from happening. So once we get that, we're going to slide it on, get it into place, push in, rotate, and we are locked and loaded. Now, do the same exact thing for our balls. I'm going to go ahead and pick whatever height you guys want and whatever ball size we plan on using. And we're going to start with the top one. I'm going to feed it in through this side so you can see the lock. So line that up, push it through. And then with the bottom one, what we have to do is we really have to put some downward pressure to get that ball to seat into place. And the reason for that is we're not even just going to have just one piece of urethane right here. We're going to have two. So we have one in here and one right here. I like that just because the more urethane, the more shock absorbing we are going to feel, which is amazing. So go ahead and put that on. Slide that through. Put a little bit of downward force. Put that through. And it's going to be the same exact steps as our other lock. And then slide it on. It's going to go over top of both. Push in, rotate, done deal. This thing isn't going anywhere. Since the key stays in there when it's unlocked, you know that if it is on there and the key's in there, it's not going to slide off whenever you're going down the road. So if you, for some reason, forget to lock it and you see the keys in there, you know it's going to maybe slide off. But if you have the keys in your hand, you know it's locked. And that'll do it for a look at the Curt Rebellion XD adjustable shock absorbing ball mount.